Lewis Hamilton's hopes of winning the 2025 title have just been hit with a brutal reality check. And the source of this harsh prediction is none other than Martin Brundle. As Hamilton prepares for his highly anticipated Ferrari debut, many expected him to be a serious title contender from the outset. However, it seems that the experts at Sky F1 think otherwise. In fact, not a single analyst from the broadcaster named the 7-time world champion as a favorite for the 2025 title. That's right, 0 votes for Hamilton. Brundle, known for his straightforward and honest analysis, has made it clear, while Hamilton will win races, he does not believe the Briton has what it takes to challenge for the championship this year. This raises serious questions. Has Ferrari already fallen behind McLaren and Red Bull before the first race has even started? Or is this yet another case of the media underestimating Hamilton's ability to defy the odds? Today we will break down exactly what Brundle said, why the F1 world is doubting Hamilton, and what this means for Ferrari's title hopes in 2025. But before we get into the details, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss anything about this explosive season. And let us know in the comments. Do you agree with Brundle, or is he completely wrong about Hamilton? Now let's get straight to it. Brundle's verdict: Hamilton will win races, but not the title. Martin Brundle has followed Hamilton's career from his McLaren days to his record-breaking success with Mercedes. But his latest prediction about the Briton has left many stunned. He admits that Hamilton will win races with Ferrari, but does not see him as a serious title contender. And he is not alone. Not a single Sky F1 analyst picked Hamilton to win the championship. Instead, the favorites named were Lando Norris, following an impressive preseason with McLaren Max Verstappen, the 4-time reigning champion who remains a major threat; Charles Leclerc, Hamilton's new Ferrari teammate, who is also seen as a contender. But Hamilton completely overlooked. This has sparked widespread debate. Why has he been dismissed? Does this mean Ferrari is still not seen as a genuine title contender? Or does Brundle believe Hamilton may struggle to adapt to his new team? With so many doubting him, Hamilton will need to prove he is still a dominant force in the title fight. Has Ferrari already fallen behind McLaren and Red Bull? Hamilton's biggest problem may not be himself. It could be Ferrari. While McLaren impressed in preseason testing, showing signs of having the most complete package on the grid, Red Bull still has Verstappen, a driver who can extract the maximum from any car. Even Mercedes, Hamilton's former team, appears to have made significant progress compared to previous seasons. And Ferrari? Nobody knows exactly where they stand. The SF25 has shown promise in some areas, but also raised concerns. During testing, both Hamilton and Leclerc reported balance issues, with the car behaving unpredictably in certain conditions. Ferrari's engineers have been working tirelessly to address these problems, but have they truly closed the gap to McLaren and Red Bull? If Ferrari starts the season on the back foot, Hamilton could lose crucial opportunities early on, and in such a competitive season, every point matters. Hamilton and Ferrari, a perfect partnership or a disaster? Waiting to happen. Another major factor is Hamilton's ability to adapt to Ferrari's way of working. At Mercedes, Hamilton was part of an organized, methodical, and stable environment. The team operated with long-term planning and precision, always trusting Hamilton's experience in strategic decision-making. Ferrari, however, is different. They are more reactive, more emotional, and often chaotic. Decisions are made quickly, but not always wisely. Poor strategy calls have cost them championships before. Hamilton's experience will certainly help, but the big question is, can he thrive in an unpredictable environment? And then there is the issue of his relationship with Leclerc. Leclerc has been Ferrari's golden boy for years. His raw speed, especially in qualifying, has made him one of the most exciting drivers on the grid. But his inconsistency and race management have been weaknesses. Now, with a 7-time world champion as his teammate, the internal dynamics at Ferrari could become very complicated. If Hamilton starts outperforming Leclerc, will Ferrari continue backing Leclerc, or will they shift their support to Hamilton's experience? History suggests that internal battles rarely remain friendly for long. Hamilton's biggest obstacle may be Ferrari. Even if Hamilton is in peak form, if Ferrari repeats its past mistakes, this season could become a nightmare. The team has long been criticized for disastrous strategic decisions, which have cost them multiple race wins and even championships. Now imagine this scenario. Hamilton is fighting for victory, but Ferrari makes a strategic mistake. He pits at the wrong time and loses key positions. The team ignores his race instincts and sticks to their own flawed decisions. This has happened before. Will it happen again? Brundle's point is clear. Hamilton's success does not depend solely on his talent. He needs Ferrari to be at the top of their game as well. If Ferrari fails to deliver, even one of the greatest drivers in history will struggle to overcome their limitations. Who is right in this debate? Brundle's comments are not an attack on Hamilton, but rather a reality check. Formula One is not just about individual talent. To win a championship, the car must be competitive, the team must be efficient, and the strategy must be flawless. If Ferrari provides Hamilton with a car capable of consistently winning races, he will undoubtedly be in contention. But if the SF25 lacks performance, or if Ferrari's decision-making lets him down, then Brundle's prediction may prove accurate. Now we want to hear from you. Can Hamilton fight for the title with Ferrari, or will the team cost him his chance? Is Brundle right, or is he underestimating Hamilton's ability to prove people wrong? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's discuss. And of course, subscribe to Formula One News, because the 2025 season is shaping up to be one of the most controversial in years. Marko dismisses Bortoleto. A B-level driver, I don't see pure speed in him. Gabriel Bortoleto fails to impress Helmut Marko. The outspoken Red Bull advisor didn't hold back when evaluating the Brazilian F1 rookie. In Marko's opinion, Bortoleto lacks pure speed and is nothing more than a B-level driver. But is he right? From double champion to question talent, Bortoleto made history by winning both Formula 3 and Formula 2 in his rookie seasons, securing a spot in McLaren's driver academy, and in 2024, earning a seat with Sauber, soon to become Audi. But despite these achievements, Marko remains unconvinced. Speaking to Service TV, he categorized F1 rookies into three groups: A-level drivers, future stars of the grid; B-level drivers, those who will remain in the sport but are not standout talents; C-level drivers, those who will struggle to survive in F1. And guess where he placed the Brazilian? In the B category. According to Marko, Bortoleto is an intelligent driver who stays out of trouble and has strong strategic awareness and tire management skills, but he lacks raw speed. He won the Formula 3 championship with only one victory and took the Formula 2 title with just two. He brings the car home, but I don't see that explosiveness in him, Marko commented. Antonelli and Behrman ranked as top-tier drivers. While Marko remains skeptical about Bortoleto's potential, he showered praise on Mercedes junior Andrea Kimi Antonelli. In his eyes, the Italian is already an A-level driver, despite facing immense pressure and suffering two major crashes during testing. Toto Wolff wants to replicate Verstappen's rise at Mercedes, but stepping straight into a top team will be a huge challenge, Marko analyzed, suggesting that Antonelli could be the next big name in F1. Another standout in Marko's rankings was Haas rookie Oliver Behrman, whom he labeled as very quick but prone to taking excessive risks. However, Behrman still made it onto Marko's A-list. Doohan written off, Hadjar backed as top-tier talent, while Alpine's Jack Doohan was completely dismissed. C-level, I don't think he'll finish the season. Another name stood out: Red Bull Academy driver Isack Hadjar. Interestingly, Hadjar lost the F2 title to Bortoleto, but Marko claims that the Frenchman was held back by 80 lost points due to technical failures. In other words, from Red Bull's perspective, Hadjar is actually more talented than Bortoleto. If Hadjar continues developing and learns to control his emotions, he has A-level potential, Marko concluded. Does Marko have a point, or is he underestimating Bortoleto? The Brazilian won F2 and F3 by being strategic, consistent, and avoiding mistakes. Does that not count as much as the raw speed Marko values so highly? Or is he simply unwilling to admit that Bortoleto could pose a future threat to Red Bull? We want to hear from you. Will Bortoleto silence Marko and prove he belongs in the A-list? Or does he still have to show more raw pace to convince the doubters? Leave your thoughts in the comments, like the video, and subscribe to the Formula One News channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any exclusive insights from what promises to be an electrifying season. Lawson at Red Bull. Adaptation or maximum pressure? The Australian Grand Prix is approaching, bringing one of the biggest challenges of the season. Liam Lawson stepping into the Red Bull cockpit alongside the unstoppable Max Verstappen. But can the New Zealander handle the pressure, or will he struggle under the weight of driving the most dominant car in Formula One? Despite having raced in 11 Grand Prix, this will be his first full season, and he is starting straight away with a team that does not tolerate mistakes. Red Bull demands results, and Lawson knows he must prove himself from the very first lap at Albert Park. And here's the real challenge. He has never raced on this circuit before. Even Lawson admitted it will be a tough weekend, but he has no choice. He must adapt quickly, or Red Bull's ruthless environment could overwhelm him, as it has done to so many others. Were the Bahrain tests enough? He had just 1.5 days of testing, and of course, Verstappen took the best track time to fine-tune the car to his own driving style. How will Lawson fit into that? We will only find out when the lights go out in Melbourne. And there is more. McLaren is looking strong for this race, while Red Bull is still fine-tuning its car. This means Lawson not only has to adapt to a new circuit, but may also have to contend with a faster rival team. So the big question is, will Lawson rise to the occasion and prove he deserves this seat, or will he simply be another temporary driver at Red Bull? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think he can handle the pressure? Make sure to like this video and subscribe to Formula One News, because the season is just getting started, and we do not hold back. End of the extra point, flexible wings banned and more. Is the FIA killing the excitement in F1? The 2025 Formula One season is about to begin, bringing with it a set of rule changes that could directly impact the spectacle on track. Even though this is the final year under the current regulations before the major 2026 revolution, the FIA has decided not to let things run unchecked and has introduced new restrictions that could shake up the grid. But are these changes really improving the sport? Or is this just another attempt to tighten control over the teams and limit what they can do? Let's break it down. Goodbye to flexible wings. Red Bull and McLaren targeted the saga of flexible wings has finally come to an end. Or at least that's what the FIA wants to believe. From the very first race in Australia, the rear wing will be subject to stricter tests to prevent any excessive flexing, and McLaren had better be careful. The infamous mini DRS trick they used so effectively in Baku is now off limits. The FIA wants wings to have just two states, open and closed, with no subtle flexing to create an aerodynamic advantage. This means teams will have less room for innovation and creativity within the rules. Is this really fair competition, or just another way to standardize everything and make F1 less competitive? No more fastest lap point. One of the most controversial changes, the extra point for the fastest lap, has been scrapped. The reason? Too many drivers were making late pit stops simply to grab fresh tires and snatch that bonus point. But let's be honest, that was exactly what made it exciting. The extra point added strategy, tension, and dramatic moments at the end of races. Now that's gone. What's left? Less risk-taking, fewer strategic plays, and a drop in excitement for the fans. FIA, seriously, who are you making these rules for? Changes to minimum weight and driver cooling. The minimum car weight has been increased to 800 kilograms. It might not seem like much, but in a sport where every gram matters, this is a significant change. On top of that, if ambient temperatures exceed 31 degrees Celsius, cars will have an additional 5 kilograms added to accommodate the new driver cooling system. This comes after the extreme conditions of the 2023 Qatar Grand Prix, where several drivers nearly passed out in their cockpits due to excessive heat. The question is the FIA genuinely prioritizing safety or just trying to avoid another PR disaster? Monaco shakeup, mandatory two-stop strategy. If there's one track where overtaking is nearly impossible, it's Monaco. And to try and shake things up, the FIA has decided that all drivers must now make 2 pit stops in dry conditions. The intention may be good, but will this actually make racing better, or just force teams into a scripted strategy? FIA clamps down. new rules for damaged cars and formation laps. After the chaos of the 2023 Canadian Grand Prix, where Sergio Perez kept driving a severely damaged car, the FIA now has the power to force a driver to retire if their car is deemed too damaged. Additionally, any car leaving the pit lane must complete the formation lap before returning to the pit exit for the race start. And what about gearbox reliability? Now it doesn't matter. Previously, teams had a limit on the number of gearboxes they could use in a season. Now the FIA has scrapped that rule altogether, arguing that modern gearboxes are reliable enough. If that's the case, why not lift restrictions on engine upgrades as well? At the end of the day, who really benefits from these changes? With tighter regulations, fewer innovations, and more FIA interference, the real question is the FIA improving F1 or suffocating it? What do you think of these changes? Will F1 be better or just more predictable? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to Formula One News, because here, we tell it like it is. And don't forget to like the video. This season is going to be explosive.